we're back in the Columbia River Gorge. One of my favorite places to shoot, but in the wintertime it is really, really crazy because we have so many different waterfalls. When we get a cold snap like we just got, we get just immense amounts of ice, like tons and tons of ice. So we're hiking down to one of the more accessible ones. It's not a long hike at all, it's about 1,000 feet off the road. But what's cool about this spot is we should be one of the only people down there because it gets so icy that it takes crampons to get down there. So that's what we're doing. So check out the view. How cool is that? These places are amazing in the summertime, but in the winter it's just something completely different. Not everybody gets to see and photograph these really cool places in these really unique conditions because it doesn't happen very often. Also, shouldn't be too many tracks because when we get down here, you're gonna see that the mist is starting to hit me. All of that mist forms into just a solid sheet of ice. That's why we have these crampons to help me dig in and get some traction because this is just a solid sheet of ice. Whew. Yeah, look at this. This is going to be really challenging because all of this mist is going to freeze as soon as it hits anything, and this thing is a mist machine. So, crampons are doing pretty good. I'm walking down this icy slope, and the crampons are doing their job, it appears. The trick to making these crampons work is really dig down into the ice with them. They're pretty aggressive. If you jam them down into the ground, you get some pretty good traction. Man, look at this behind me. Isn't that killer? So when you're shooting places like this, you kind of have to have a plan of attack because I've got a very limited amount of time that I can shoot because there's going to be so much mist on my front element, and I'm not sure that it's not going to freeze and I will actually be able to get it off. So I need to kind of find my composition before I even bust out the camera, and then I got to be kind of efficient with my time once I do get my camera out. I want to get a couple compositions here, but it's going to be really tough with all this mist. I'm sure my beard is already freezing. The combination of mist and these cold temperatures is really hard to shoot at. So I think these shots are cool, but I want to get down onto that water and show the frozen river. I'm going to put my camera back in the bag, keep it covered, and try to find a spot down closer to the river where we can get a cool comp. But man, the mist is going to be even worse down there, so we'll see. Oh. As much as anything, I think it's the wind that's killing us. It's brutal. Frozen wasteland. This is crazy. So I got my microfiber towel handy here. I've got lens cap on. I'll get everything set up as close as I can, and then the very last thing I'll do is take the lens cap off, snap a shot. I really like this foreground, but now when I take the lens cap off, I try not to fall. And now, I'm gonna try to get one at a fast shutter speed. I'd look at all that ice. Can't close the legs down because there's so much ice buildup. It's gonna have to defrost. We really got iced up this time. All right, so it's day 2. We're still in Cascade Locks, and just stopped at the grocery store, bought water, bought some Cliff Bars, and also got some cat litter. So you might be asking yourself, why cat litter? Well, it's really handy if you get stuck. If you're in the snow and you can't get any traction, especially if you're on ice, throw a little bit of that underneath your tire and then suddenly you have traction again. It's crazy. $5 and it'll save you. Anyway, so getting all set up, going to be meeting a few friends at a waterfall, and we're going to hike into it. Also, you might notice that we're missing a little bit of a sunrise. It's supposed to be completely clear like it is up this way, but then we had some clouds sneak in over here. Now they're catching color and making Nick wish that he was set up. Anyways, we're gonna go head out and we'll catch up with you in a second. I'm not super excited to get outside. It's like 30 and 40 mile an hour winds and about 15 degrees, which is a really brutal combination. So I'm sitting in the car questioning my life choices. I'm gonna bundle up 2 sets of gloves, my heavy coat, I'm gonna wear my heavy hat, I'm gonna wear my face protector thing, warming up my shoes on the dash so I can at least change into some nice warm shoes. Here we can take a closer look at the spikes that I was talking about. Look at how aggressive that is on the bottom. I think I'm gonna sit in here and drink some coffee for a little bit, get myself nice and warm, and then just do it. Goodbye, car. So I got my fancy mask thing on. Don't know if you'll even be able to hear me, but I look like Hannibal Lecter. It's actually, I think it's like 15 degrees, 16 degrees, and it's not so much the temperature, it's the wind. So I'm really hoping that when we get out of the wind, it'll get better. So we made it to Elwa Falls. Check this out behind me here. Normally we would be standing just on like riverbed, but we're able to walk kind of all over the place because it's so frozen and we have so much ice built up here. Check this out. Got all of these icicles here. When you look up, you've got the beautiful Elwa Falls. I've been trying to incorporate some of the gaps in the snow below us. So we got a group of 4 of us here. It's really tough because when you're shooting snow scenes, if people have walked in your shot, it's kind of ruined the foreground. So you have to either shoot where they haven't or just decide that you're gonna do a whole lot of clone stamp stuff. You can see what I scrambled down here. It's really slick. It's easy coming down. It's getting back out that's the problem. You can just slide down. So I'm gonna go up and see what else I can find. See if I can find something cool up there as well. But I'm already happy with what we got down here. All right, let's see if I can get out of here. So we decided to crawl up the side of this cathedral bowl that the waterfall is formed. And we were trying to get close to these like mushroom ice formation things. And we weren't able to get over there because it's just a solid sheet of ice over there. I couldn't even break it with the spikes on my tripod. Plus, something you gotta keep in mind is that when you get close to these overhanging icicles, some of those are like 14-foot long spears and they'll just kill you dead. And so you don't wanna be underneath those, and it was getting really sketchy. Majid, my buddy, he's up there shooting right underneath them, and he's taking his life in his own hands by doing it. Don't do this at home, kids. I think I got some cool telephoto shots of just the ice formations. I'm not very good at doing abstract-y kind of shots like that, so I'm curious to see if those turn out well. I'm excited about them. Man, this place is so epically beautiful. Just look at this. It's so cool. I love the colors of the icicles, and this cathedral amphitheater, whatever they call it, is just so big and dramatic and beautiful. This place is pretty cool. So now we're at Smith Rock. It's just outside of Bend, Oregon. On the way over, we stopped a couple places and got a couple photos. We stopped at a place called White River Falls. Some of the shots that I liked from that were more telephoto, just kind of focusing in on the ice and stuff. But now we're at Smith Rock State Park in Oregon. And it really kind of stands out in this area. It's very different than the surrounding areas. It's also very photogenic. It's also very heavily shot. It's a kind of a touristy place. Every photographer within hundreds of miles has a shot from here. but I'm no better than that. We shot a sun star as the sun was disappearing back behind the mountain there, and now we're gonna wait until we get some color. But the composition that I have going on here is we've got this kind of cool, clean snow foreground, and we're using that as our foreground. Got the river snaking away, kind of doing this nice S-curve between the mountains. It's not this typical summertime shot that you see, but it looks like we have just enough clouds that are gonna catch light. Hopefully I'm not jinxing it, but I'm thinking we're gonna get a pretty colorful sunset tonight. It's just a matter of waiting probably another half hour, 40 minutes, something like that. So the color's starting to happen, and it's definitely going to be a fairly colorful evening. So what I'm doing right now is I'm shooting a few panos because we have all these rocks over here that I'm also trying to include. So I'm taking 2-shot bracket panos. So I'm doing my first exposure bright enough to where I have detail in my shadows, and then my second exposure dark enough to where I'm not blowing out any highlights. So I'm doing several panos, and then after I get done doing the panos, I'm gonna do some vertical compositions of just this. I've got this nice, fairly clean snow in front of me. Seasonal indicator, as they say in nerd talk. You can see that I've got the left side of the histogram off the edge, so I've got detail in my shadows. I'm focusing right on the edge of where the mountain is meets the sky there. I get that first shot, and then my second shot is 2 stops darker, so I get that nice colorful sky. And I think we're gonna come back here in the morning, and it's gonna be drastically different in the morning because the light's actually gonna be hitting this, and we'll be able to get some really nice side light. And side light is really good for defining the textures on the mountain. Right now it's just kind of a dark blob against a colorful sky, but in the morning it'll be completely different. And hopefully we can get another good sky. We're supposed to have like a 30% chance of clouds, which is really nice. So I'm very hopeful. So we'll see you guys in the morning. So yeah, I told you it's gonna have a completely different look in the morning. We're starting to get the direct light from this spot. I really like the pano because you can see the S-curve in the river down below. And we've got some interesting, sagebrush and stuff poking through this really smooth, perfect snow in front of me. Tripod level here at the base, or as close to level as I could get it. And then I bring up my electronic level on my viewfinder in live view. That way I can make sure that it's staying level across the shot. That way as I pan, my pano is not going to be all weird when I stitch it together. So now that I feel like I got that shot, I'm not going to just keep shooting it, but what I am going to do is I'm going to switch over to my telephoto lens because there's this lone tree way up there, and it's contrasting really nice against the blue sky behind it because it's got the warm early morning light hitting it. So I'm going to probably shoot a couple more with the wide angle lens and then switch over to telephoto and grab that shot as well. Okay, so now I've got the 70 to 300 on, and I'm just zooming in and kind of getting some of the textures of the rock with that cool side light, as well as getting that lone tree up there. I really like this lone tree. I've done a couple horizontal shots. I think I'm liking the vertical shot better, but I'm gonna shoot it every way I can think of, and then I'll decide later. Really a cool morning. Man, what an epic trip. I feel like we got a ton of good photos this time. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. And here are the shots that we got in the making of this video. Thanks so much, guys. Catch you later.